Namaste dear students, welcome to our YouTube channel Master Physics Academy. By learning physics here, you will master physics. Happy learning, ಒಳ್ಳೆಯದಾಗಲಿ, ಶುಭವಾಗಲಿ. The best waves for emission of electrons from a surface. So the best wave what we can say is should have more energy. More energy means it can knock down electron from a metal surface more effectively. So in this microwaves are less energetic, then comes infrared rays, then comes ultraviolet rays. The most energetic of all these rays is X-rays, hence it is most suitable. Option D is the correct answer. If the surface is a perfect reflector, the change in momentum of the wave after falling on the surface is. Let us consider this as the perfect reflector. Radiation is falling on it. After being incident, it will rebound back with the same speed. Therefore, if you consider the forward direction as positive, okay, the momentum here it is going to have is P. And for the reflected light or for the reflected radiation, I can say in general, the momentum will be minus P. There won't be any change in momentum with respect to magnitude, but in direction it is opposite. So according to our convenience, it is going to be minus P. So what is change in momentum? Change in momentum is final momentum minus initial momentum. What is final momentum here? Minus P. What was initial momentum? It is plus P. So doing this, we'll be getting minus 2P as the answer. But here one ambiguity is there. What is that? One can choose this direction as negative according to their wish. Okay, there is no restrictions that we need to choose this direction as positive always. There are no restrictions like that. Hence, the answer could be, in this case, the answer will be like final will be positive. Okay, final momentum becomes positive and initial momentum becomes negative. So final momentum is P, minus of initial momentum becomes minus of P, then it is going to be 2 times P. So according to my knowledge, option B and option D both are correct. Okay, according to the sign convention what we accept. So I don't know whether what answer they have given in the key answers, because that is not available in any platforms. So what I hope is you can go with minus 2P as the answer in such situations, because incident radiations will be taken positive for most of the cases. So thinking that way, I'll suggest you people to go with option D, minus 2P. But remember that strictly speaking, option B is also correct. In case of a PN junction diode at high value of reverse bias, the current rises sharply. The value of reverse bias is known as. Let us draw the VI characteristic graph for the given PN junction diode. Along y-axis, we will be taking current through the diode. Along x-axis, we will be taking voltage across the diode. Since it is reverse bias diode, we will be using third quadrant. And what is the nature of the graph? Initially, when you increase the reverse voltage, current through the diode increases. After some point, if you increase the voltage, the current through the diode will be almost constant. Again, if you increase the reverse voltage after a certain point, the current through the diode increases very sharply, like this. The voltage at which this occurs is called as breakdown voltage in general. But if you are using Zener diode, it is particularly called as Zener breakdown. Breakdown is the keyword we should look for, but in no option it is there. Since it is a Comed-K question and there is no negative marking, we need to opt for a better choice. So according to my knowledge, they should provide grace mark for this, because a very important keyword is missing. But do not take any risk. So let us check what is the best option we can pick. So if you look at the option D, it is saying critical voltage. In second PU syllabus, in the chapter PN junction or semiconductor electronics, nowhere we are using critical voltage, hence discard that. And also we are not using inverse voltage anywhere. So discard that. Now there is a option A called as cut-in. Again here voltage is missing. That is also a keyword. Okay, so this is related to forward bias diode. What it is? See, if you look at the VI characteristics of forward bias diode, so initially current through the diode will increase slowly when you increase the forward voltage, but after certain point, the current through the diode increases very sharply. At that point, okay, at that voltage, okay, the current through the diode will increase sharply. The voltage at which it is going to happen is called as cut-in voltage. Cut-in voltage, or it is also called as knee voltage because the graph look like a knee. So this is related to forward bias, hence I can just ignore it. So the option what is left here is option B. So I can just suggest you people to pick option B. What keyword is missing here? Breakdown. Hope you understood what I am saying. The truth table of a logic gate is given. The logic gate is, before you answer this kind of question in competitive exams, first you need to check the sequence in which the inputs are given. They may change the sequence just to confuse you. Usual sequence is 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1. Hence, it is according to the usual sequence. Then what do you know about OR gate? The output will be like 0, 1, 1, 1. For NOR gate, the OR gate input is, OR gate output is inverse, right? 1, 0, 0, 0. So it is not matching with NOR. Definitely it should be NAND gate. Hence you can opt for NAND gate. But before that you can check this. Okay, make the answer confirm. So what is the output of AND gate? AND gate output will be for the usual sequence. It will be 0, 0, 0, 1. Therefore NAND gate output will be inverse of this. 0's inverse is 1. 0's inverse is 1, 0's inverse is 1, 1's inverse is 0. So it is matching with NAND gate, hence option D is correct. In a transistor connected in a common emitter mode, RO equals 4 kilo ohm, RI equals 1 kilo ohm, IC is equal to 1 milliampere and IB equals 20 milliampere. The voltage gain is. Voltage gain is given by output voltage divided by input voltage. But output voltage and input voltage are not mentioned directly. So output voltage, what the expression we have? It is given by output current, which is collector current, multiplied with output resistance. And how do we get input voltage? Input current, which is base current in this case, multiplied with input resistance. Let us substitute the values. IC is given as 1 milliampere, that means 10 power minus 3. RO is given as 4 kilo ohm, that is 4 into 10 to the power 3. Divided by IB value is given as 20 milliampere, so 20 into 10 to the power minus 3. And RI is given as 1 kilo ohm, that is 10 power 3. So 10 power 3, 10 power 3 cancels, 10 power minus 3, 10 power minus 3 is also cancelled. So what do we have is 4 by 20. So it is going to be 1 by 5. So again, this question is ambiguous. Okay, so in CE mode, what do we know is the voltage gain should be very greater than 1 point. And in CE mode, what do we know is IB, that is input current, should be very less compared to IC. So these two things what we know as a fact is violated here. Maybe what probable mistake they have done is they may have typed milliampere instead of microampere. That is the probable mistake I can consider here. Okay, so let us think that is microampere. So 4 divided by 20. So we are missing that 10 power minus 3. Okay, milli we have taken. So 10 power minus 3 will be there. So if you consider that 20 into 10 power minus 3 will be there in the denominator. So it is going to be 4000 divided by 20. So 4000 divided by 20 means it is going to be 200. So in such cases, option B is the right choice. I'm just suggesting this, okay? But strictly speaking, and from the student's point of view, maybe they have given grace marks. In a semiconductor diode, the reverse biased current is due to drift of the free electrons and holes caused by. So in reverse bias case, current is due to minority charge carriers. And how do we get minority charge carriers? By two processes. One is thermal expansion, by which the covalent bonds get the thermal energy from outside and covalent bond break. We do have electron hole pair generation. By that process, we will be getting minority charge carriers. And by adding impurity atoms, by this case also we will be getting minority charge carriers. So option what we need to pick is both A and B, which is mentioned in option C. So this is the correct option. An electric dipole consists of two opposite charges, each of magnitude 1 microcoulomb, separated by distance of 2 centimeter. The dipole is placed in an external field of 10 power 5 Newton per coulomb. The maximum torque on the dipole is. The torque acting on the dipole, which is kept in uniform electric field, is given by Pe sin theta, where P is electric dipole moment, E is external electric field, theta is the angle between dipole moment and the electric field. For maximum value, sin theta should be equal to 1. That means angle between P and E should be 90 degree. Now tau maximum is given by P into E. Now what is P? That is dipole moment given by product of either charge of the dipole into distance of separation between them. So for P we have Q into 2L and multiplied with E gives us maximum torque possible on the dipole. So let us substitute. So QL is given as 10 power minus 6. 2L is the distance of separation given as 2 into 10 power minus 2 meter, and electric field is 10 power 5 Newton per coulomb. So solving this, we will be getting answer equal to 2 into 10 to the power minus 3 Newton meter, which is given in option C. Two small charged spheres A and B have charges 10 microcoulomb and 40 microcoulomb respectively and are held at separation of 90 centimeter from each other. At what distance from A, electric field intensity would be 0? Here it is given that there is a charge Q1 with magnitude 10 microcoulomb at location A, and there is another charge Q2 with magnitude 40 microcoulomb at location B. The distance of separation between the charges is given as 90 centimeter. Let us denote that by symbol R. We have been asked to calculate the distance of null point from point A. What is a null point? It is the point where the electric field due to the system of charges will be 0. For like charges, this null point will be there interior to the line joining the two charges. That means it will lie along the line AB. And another point, what do we know about this null point is that it will be always nearer to the weaker charge. Which is the weaker charge here? Q1 with magnitude 10 microcoulomb. The null point will be nearer to that point, interior to the line joining the charges and nearer to Q1. So let us mark C as the null point. Okay. Then the distance AC, let us denote that by X. Then distance CB will be equal to R minus X. Now if you consider the electric field produced due to Q1 at C, its direction will be along CB, right? Because positive charge means the electric field direction will be radially outwards. So let us denote that by E1. The direction of electric field at C due to charge Q2 will be along CA. So like this. So what we came to know that E1 and E2 are oppositely directed. If they are same in magnitude, definitely they are going to cancel each other and there we will be getting null point. So we should solve for E1 is equal to E2 and we will get the value of X. So what is E1? K Q1 divided by X squared. And what is E2? It is going to be K Q2 divided by R minus X whole squared. Now what we can do is K get cancelled and we are getting Q1 by Q2 is equal to X square divided by R minus X whole square. So this is the shortcut formula you may use directly for this kind of questions when they appear in final examinations. Okay, so what is Q1 and Q2? It is going to be 10 divided by 40, which is 1 by 4. And what is x squared? We don't know yet. And r is known to us. Let us substitute that by 90. 90 minus x whole square. Let us take a square root. Okay, so by taking square root, what do we have is 1 by 2 is equal to x divided by 90 minus x. So cross multiply, 90 minus x is equal to 2x. That means 90 is equal to 3x, which indicates x is equal to 30 centimeter. So the distance of null point from point A will be equal to 30 centimeter. So the correct option is option C. A concave mirror gives an image 3 times as large as its object placed at a distance of 20 centimeter from it. For the image to be real, the focal length should be, okay, so magnification will be negative in the case when we get the real images. So it should be 3 times, hence magnification will be minus 3. And what is the formula for magnification for lenses? For lenses, sorry, it is mentioned as mirror. So for mirror, the formula will be minus V by U. So what do we have here is the value of V will be equal to 3 times U. And what is the mirror equation? It is 1 by F is equal to 1 by V plus 1 by U. Now substitute 1 by V means 1 by 3U. And what is 1 by U? Let us substitute later. So let us just solve this. 1 by 3U plus 1 by U. So 3U is the LCM. So it is going to be 4 divided by 3U, right? So now what is F then? F will be equal to 3U divided by 4. So 3U divided by 4. Now let us substitute the value of U, which is going to be minus 20 centimeter. Okay, so it is going to be 3 into minus 20 centimeter according to the sign convention divided by 4. That means it is going to be minus 15 centimeter. Minus indicate that the mirror what we are using is concave in nature. But if you ignore the sign, the value will be just 15 centimeter. So option B is the right choice. Two convex lenses A and B placed in contact form the image of a distant object at P. If the lens B is moved to the right a little, the image will. Here for this case, when the two lenses are kept in contact, the reciprocal of effective focal length 1 by F equivalent is given by 1 by F1 plus 1 by F2. So let us call this as equation number 1. When the lenses are kept at some distance apart like this, here in the question it is given that lens B is moved to the right. That means there exists a small gap between A and B, say D. So in such cases, the effective focal length changes. The reciprocal of effective focal length, say F equivalent dash, is equal to 1 by F1 plus 1 by F2 minus D divided by F1 F2. Now observing equation 1 and 2, we can clearly say that 1 by F equivalent is little greater than 1 divided by F equivalent dash. What does that indicate? F equivalent being less than F equivalent dash. So in the question they are asking that if the lenses are kept at some distance apart, where does the image getting formed? So it is given that object is far away, like the distant object is mentioned, right? So object will be further away from the combination of lenses. So it is almost nearer to the principal focus it is getting formed. Now in this second case, the focal length has been increased. Okay, so therefore the image will be forming at the new principal focus, which is further away to the right. Therefore the option what we must pick is option B, which says move to the right.